Good?
Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Hey everyone, so today we're going to do a slightly more serious video. It's a quick question and answer video. So we've had customers submit questions either in shop or over Facebook and things like that, and we're going to try our best to go through and answer them at the moment. So Dave's got all the questions. He's going to be reading them out for me bit by bit, and yeah, we'll see how all of this goes. So, ready for question one, Mr. Dave?
A nice simple one to start with.
Okay.
How often should I feed my fish?
Okay, so the frequency of feeding fish completely depends on the fish that you've got. It's not an easy give a number per day on how well to do things. So you'll have certain fish that are more predatory fish that may have a slightly high metabolism. You're going to want to feed them around 3 to 5 times a day depending on what you've got. Standard community fish, again depending on what you've got in temperature, 1 to 3. There's not an easy question to ask because every aquarium is individual. It's better just to give us a breakdown of what is in the tank, and then we'll be able to go through with you on the best frequency to feed that based on temperature and other variables that go into it. Number 2.
So, I've got a load of snails in my tank. Where have they come from and how do I get rid of them?
Right, so there's going to be a couple of different types of snails that are going to be more associated with your pet snail. You've got the more conical shell ones with a bit more of a spike to them, they're Malaysian trumpet snails. They can be quite good at kind of turning over your gravel and actually helping with a bit of cleaning. And then you've got your ram's horn snails as well. They're the ones with a slightly more circular shell. Now, overall, they're not a bad thing. They can actually help with the breaking down of overeating food and things like that. But, again, they are mostly caused, in terms of the food, with uneaten food itself and more organic matter in the tank. They can come from multiple sources, so depending on what shop you've gone, there may be snails in the bag. Depending on where you've gone as well, there could be some snails with plants on. There's different ways you can do it. We never recommend getting livestock to deal with a snail infestation because it's getting the fish to do a job rather than treating the issue as it is anyway. So we'd always recommend either feeding much less, using snail traps to get rid of the majority of everything, and then you should get to a point where you've got a few snails dotted around and not too many, so it's manageable. That's the best way to do it.
I often get brown algae building up on decorations and plants. What causes it?
Okay, so brown algae necessarily isn't actually algae. It's a buildup of waste. It goes by a few different names, like detritus waste and things like that. Usually it happens in areas of low flow. Now, what that means is wherever your filter is pointing, anything can break it up. So whether it's a side panel of glass can break it, whether it's a couple of decorations in the way, that can break the flow up a little bit. And you'll usually get areas of lower flow around decorations around the plants. So when you put your finger or hand into the tank and you kind of stroke the glass, you'll get a slimy little kind of feeling to it. That is what builds up into that brown algae. So a little bit more cleanliness, wiping down the glass a little bit more, increasing flow in certain areas will help. You can also get liquids that help break down waste as well.
This is my question.
Your question?
Can I have a pay rise, please?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
No,
I like this question and answer thing.
you get one in a couple of weeks, Dave. So. Next question.
Next question. What should I be looking for when buying fish? How do I know what's healthy and what's not?
Right, so in terms of buying fish, it's quite a good question actually. So what you want to be looking for is you don't want to necessarily look at the first fish that you see. So obviously something's going to catch your eye. Now, when you go into a shop, don't be hesitant to ask questions about the fish or the system or anything like that. So for example, you come into here and you see a fish that you like. There's certain bays that are on the same system, so have a look at every other fish on the system. Have a close look, don't look at the decorations, don't look at the tank, you want to look at the fish themselves. So you want to look at the fins, the gills, the eyes, the shape of the body, and just the general way that they're swimming as well. Look at every other one on the system. If you can see something that you're a bit skeptical about, ask the question. Don't be hesitant about it. You just want to look for healthy fish, and if you go into a respected store, they're not going to let a bad fish go anyway. They're going to let you know all the information there is to know about it. So yeah, in short, look at the fish and then look at every other fish on the same system and ask questions. When was it last poorly, if it ever was? What caused it? How was it treated? A shop that's not getting anything to hide will quite happily answer those questions.
When can I start putting fish in a new tank? And that's from Ben.
Right, okay, so fish in a new tank. Now, you'll have a look online about different methods and things like that and how to put fish into a tank. As a store, we don't agree with fish in cycling. Now, I know it's kind of an old method that a lot of people use where they get cheap, hardy fish, put them in a tank and let that kind of gain the bacteria. But as a store, we don't agree with fish in cycling. We would rather do it the natural way, so you're using something for an ammonia source, so you can get actually bottles of ammonia, and then you can get something to kind of help break it down. The process itself can usually take around 4 to 6 weeks. Again, that is a grey area. It completely depends on the tank. There's other variables like temperature and light and size of tank and things like that come into play. But as an average, you're looking at 4 to 6 weeks in an aquarium cycling to safely put fish in. Again, if you come into here, we'll always test the water on the lead up to make sure that the aquarium itself is ready and cycling for fish to go into.
This is from Kim. What are you on for tea? I need ideas.
Cheers, Kim. So yeah, tea. Go-to's always a burger. Burger or a hot dog. Anything within bread. Anything within bread. I'm a man lad, so anything within bread. I'll put bread in bread.
You're in bread.
Yeah, I'll put me in bread. Bread in bread. I'll have it. Anything in bread. So now we, yeah, that's the tea that's my go-to. But honestly, I never know until I actually get it.
Okay, so Calamas.
Yep.
Is the fishman name coincidence?
No. Where I used to work, I was the only lad in the fishery. I was the only person in the fishery. So every time it was a fish-related question, it was go see the fishman. Go see the fishman. So everyone just knew me as Fishman. And then I ended up creating a Facebook page for work-related stuff, going to build a profile. And then even my dad started sending me messages to the work page. So it kind of disappeared. My personal page disappeared and it was Reese Fishman from then on. But yeah, Fishman's not the real name. None of you will ever know.
Will you ever have clownfish in stock?
Yeah, eventually. We're going to be doing upgrades upstairs first to get the kind of the VIP special room done with the expensive fishing. The ultimate goal is to be kind of the go-to shop in the local area for pretty much most of your aquatic needs. I know we're not going to cover everything, but we can try and cover as many things as possible, but cover them to a high standard. Right now, I don't have the full knowledge on marine fish to say that I can do them successfully, I can do them without putting a foot wrong. So once all of the freshwater stuff is done, we'll then move into other areas and bring other people in to work on the more specialist areas that I don't know about.
So another one from Kim.
Okay.
Is it a good idea to clean everything in the tank, i.e. rocks, plants, gravel, every time it's cleaned or not? Can it cause more harm than good? How do you know what the right balance of bacteria to leave is without affecting the fish?
In short, the answer is no. You don't need to clean everything out when you're cleaning your tank. So the main thing that you're going to be looking at is just cleaning the water itself and the filtration. You clean rocks, gravel, all the aesthetic things, you clean as and when is needed. So for example, we always recommend a quick clean once a week. So 25% of your water out maybe on an average stocked aquarium. Give your filter a quick squeeze out, put all that back in, you know, after you've wiped the glass down and everything. So literally a quick 10-minute, 15-minute clean once a week is what we recommend to keep a routine. And then after that, it's kind of as and when your gravel you think is dirty, get the gravel back out. When you think that decoration's looking dirty, just get a little wipe down, and that's pretty much all that you need to do. Keep it small and routine.
I have seen tanks with arowana and discus together. Is this a good idea?
No. You're putting predatory fish in with kind of slower moving cichlids. The temperatures themselves are completely off. Discus need much higher temperatures. You're going to speed up the metabolism of the arowana. It's good. You might get away with it for so long, but it's going to want to have a go.
Another algae one. I'm having a problem with algae. How do I fix it?
Depends on the type of algae. So you have things like hair algae, black-beard algae, green algae. First you have to kind of have a look at the algae that you've got. Green algae is a relatively easy one to fix. It's usually caused by kind of excess light. You can just cover a tank up for a few days without any light and that should get rid of most of it. You can get things to clump it together so your filter can catch it, antiphosphate stuff. Hair algae, if you've got plants, you can use things like liquid CO2 that, as a fertiliser, it's a bit rubbish, but it will help kind of starve the algae as well. Blackbeard algae, whole other story, we'll get to that another day.
This is an anonymous one. I love you, you're my soulmate, I dream of you, can I have your phone number?
James Mills, you've got it. If you want the shop number, 01616243207, but you've already got the mobile number. I'll marry you later.
Do you sell to bathtub fish keepers? From Tez.
Tez and bathtub fish keepers. I mean, if you can keep a healthy bathtub running, we'll sell you a fish for it.
Okay. How do you stop the wall behind a tank from getting a damp build-up?
So sometimes you get the issue with kind of badly ventilated aquariums, where the lid's not fully tight and the only ventilation is towards the back. If it's in a room that doesn't necessarily have windows open and stuff, so it'll kind of stagnate moist air behind the aquarium. Best thing to do is get a slightly tighter fitting lid. You can block it up a little bit at the back as well, so if the air escapes from the front of the tap and leaks into the room as well. It's not one that is subject to a correct answer for every standard household. It's always varies between house to house.
Can you put 2 or 3 female betas in together?
Yeah, if you've got more than 2 or 3. Ideally you want a harem, so you want a group of females, so anywhere 5, 6 and above. Again, it's kind of subject to different decorations and things like that. If you've got 2 in a tank together, they're likely going to fight. The more you have, you kind of split the aggression between themselves, and then it kind of becomes a slightly more harmonious tank. But you still want a decent amount of decoration, you want a decent amount of space, you want a decent amount of females as well.
I have seen my fish flicking. Should I be worried?
Not always. Fish, just like people, can get an itch now and again, whether it's maybe a little bit of sand that gets under a scale and they give it a bit of a scratch. When it comes to persistent flicking and going against certain objects and things like that on a regular basis, you do need to get it a little bit more looked at. It could be sort of things like parasites, flukes, slight bacterial issues with the biofilm and it gets built up. There could be a multitude of different things that does need further investigating, so pop into store if you do get that issue. Agreed.
Do you ever refuse fish sales?
Yeah. So there's certain fish that we won't really sell, so things like pangasius carps, monster fish, fish known as tank busters, we never really sell them. Unless, again, it's the odd circumstance where someone can physically prove with full evidence that they own that area, they've got a big enough space, and they can house it for life, we will sell to them. But we're not going to ever stock them as a kind of standard, we get them into order. If your tank's not ready as well, or based on the information that you give us, if your tank is not ready, we will not sell you fish, we will tell you the best path to go down. So yeah, we have refused a few times.
Laura asks, how big do goldfish get?
Well, different breeds of goldfish get different size, but you're looking anywhere around 18 inch, so they're not really suitable for aquariums. You want to keep goldfish outside. They've got a layer of fat around them as well that needs to develop, and it only really develops seasonally.
James asks, when will you be posting fish?
I mean, we can technically do it now. Since I inquired about the APC and delivering the fish, we've been getting far too busy in store to finalise a few different things. So if we've got the time, we can actually sort it all out now and we can post fish out to you. But to get it fully set up and so it's a running thing as a kind of standard, whenever I get time to do it, it gets quiet down a little bit, we'll sort it out.
And last but not least, how often should you clean your aquarium?
Right, yeah, so we have kind of covered this a little bit. We always recommend doing small routine cleans. Small routine cleans helps keep you on top of things. It's not letting like hormones within the water and metals within the water and everything build up over time. You keep on top of it and you keep doing these regular changes, and you should never really experience an issue if you are routine within yourself or cleaning your tank out. It's going to be less stressful for the fish and smaller changes as well. So yeah, small routine weekly cleans is what we recommend on an averagely stocked and well stocked aquarium. Yeah, you said that was the last one?
That's a wrap.
Right, okay, yeah, so first question and answer video. It's probably gone on for longer than I think because I like to talk quite a bit of
Blah, 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 blah.
I like to waffle quite a bit. Love a bit of blue waffle talking.
Don't Google that, by the way.
Okay, I don't do that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I can't do my trademark turn around and walk away, so I can fall asleep for a bit. Stop the video, Dave.